Now, I know I've done a lot of these videos of can you beat Pokemon game with this Pokemon, but I wanted to do something a little bit different. This time, I'm going to be going back to Pokemon Blue, and I'll be trying to see if I can complete the game as the hero that is Gary Oak. Let's be honest, I hated Gary when I was 11 years old, but now I love him and think he was such an underrated character, and I would love to see more appearances from him in the anime. Gary has caught a lot of different Pokemon in his time, and I'll be going through with what I believe were the ones he used for his team in the Kanto region, this being Blastoise, both the Nidos, Arcanine, Fearow and Alakazam. I won't go through the rules, but it's simple, just beat the game using his team. And as always, if you like these videos, please leave a comment, like, share and subscribe for more weekly content. The plot itself is the same. I go to the killer grass and get pulled off by Grandad to come to his lab and get offered a Pokemon for free. And the best thing about this is that Ash says nothing the whole time and gets told off by Professor Oak to wait his turn. Classic! I pick Squirtle, who A, is who Gary chose in the anime, and B, who I chose back when I was 11 years old, all those years ago. Ash challenges to our first fight, and what the hell, he looks like a fat stoner. Like, I can't talk too much to be honest, and I can't code for anything, but still, come on. Either way, my Squirtle kicks its ass. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm going to start picking apart some of the Gen 1 sprites. Why? Because I can. So the mighty Gary goes off to get Grandad's porno DVDs, and what is that? How is that a Pidgey? The poor bird looks like it's eating a tennis ball, and also why has it got creepy beady eyes? Yeah, so with Grandad's DVDs now in his grasp, I get given the Pokedex and begin my journey. I fly through the Viridian Forest with ease as my turtle squirrel thing is just a bit of a god, but then I have to backtrack because I need to get the Pokemon I need for the team. I quickly catch myself a Nidoran female, a Nidoran male, and also a Spearow, and look at that, I've got 4 members of the team already caught. See, this is why Gary was better than Ash. He didn't mess around and use the power of friendship to catch Pokemon. Watching this back, I actually forgot to go fight Ash for the first time here as well. Whoops. We go through the forest again and arrive in Pewter City to fight the topless beast Brock, and as you can imagine, this is pretty easy. Squirtle used Bubble. Geodude's dead. Squirtle used Bubble. Onix is dead. Like, imagine being killed by bubbles, the idea is just simply ridiculous. Either way, we get our first badge because Gary is a boss. I make my way through Mount Moon and whilst training my team as best I can because I don't just want to rely on Squirtle this whole run. While here, I picked up not just 1, but 2 Moonstones. One of them's hidden, and they're going to come in very handy later on. We meet Team Rocket, and I'm not bothered by what they're up to, just the fact they're in my way. And whilst in this little mountain, Squirtle becomes WARTORTLE, and this design looked cool as. I meet the super nerd and smack him around, and I actually thought, he doesn't really need to share what he's found. I need to stop being so lazy and go find my own fossils. Guess which fossil I took, everyone? No, I took the dome fossil. Come on, people, I don't copy jokes. I arrive in Cerulean City, and rather than fight Ash's mistress, I go north to fight the man himself. He starts off with, oh come on, what's that? This looks like the pigeon's eating a football now. WARTORTLE has no real problem and just kicks it away. Next is Abra, who looks like he's had a good meal and is smacked aside, as is Rattata. Finally, it's Bulbasaur who is tackled to death. But wait, Ash speaks. Yes, I know, it is Gary's coding after all. I continue north and get the Nugget, and doing so, we fight, oh, what the hell is that? That is not an Ekans. That looks an absolute mess. Nidoran male evolves into Nidorino, and Nidoran female evolves into Nidorina. But with the Moonstones I collected earlier, I made both of them evolve into Nidoqueen and Nidoking. Oh my god, how good are their designs? Like, they're amazing in my eyes, and they are the best looking in the red and blue games. Whilst here, I also catch another member of the team, Abra, with quite a lot of these. I then do a stupid thing and fight this guy, which means it messes up the Professor Oak glitch. Sorry everyone, no fighting Grandad this time. We make our way to Bill's house and help him with his little experiment to get our SS tickets. Part of me thinks old Gary would have just left him behind because that's what Gary was like back in the day. With our team now looking a lot beefier, we went after Misty. She sends out Staryu, so I send out Nidoking, who's able to finish it off. The next is a Starmie and the one we all hate. Starmie is able to remove the Nidoking and the Nidoqueen with little problems, so I switch into WARTORTLE. However, Starmie starts only using Tackle, which means I can just dig myself to an easy win, and that's 2 badges down. I head south towards Vermilion City, and after doing a lot of swapping in and out, Abra evolves into Kadabra. From here we obtain a Growlithe, and my Kadabra evolves into Alakazam. Now I know what you're all thinking before I start getting comments. Well, this is Pokemon Blue, Growlithe is not in the game, and how can you get an Alakazam? It can only be obtained by trading Kadabra. Well, I can assure you, I did this using completely legitimate methods. I never use any sort of exploits in playing these games, and I'm always 100% pure in my run. Now I've explained myself, I can be happy that we have the 6. I should just point out that Generation 1 Growlithe is so bad, like really bad. Also, I should note, how bad does Growlithe look? Look at it, the poor thing looks in pain. I get on the ship and make our way to go see the captain, and we're met by Ash, who as usual doesn't really want to talk to us. I will say though, he looks like he's lost a lot of weight. Good for you. Good for you. He first sends out the fat turkey, who is easily taken out by WARTORTLE. Next is Raticate, who to be fair looks terrifying, and Nidoking is able to sort it out, along with his Kadabra. His final Pokemon is Ivysaur, and oh come on, what's that? It looks like a cross between a frog and a Ninja Turtle. So I thrash it out of existence, and Ash wanders off. And by this we go meet the perfect captain, who gives us the HM cut for rubbing his back. We get off the boat and Spearow evolves into Fearow, so the thing is not as quite useless as it previously was. With the obtaining cut, I now have access to Vermilion Gym, and it makes us start going through the trash to find the secret switches. But imagine if this was the case now. Gary picked up the needle. Gary picked up Hepe. I solve the little puzzle and go meet Lieutenant Surge, and let's be honest, this is always going to be a breeze. He first sends out Voltorb, and I send out Nidoqueen, who are making the special tackle out of the 2 Nidos. With Voltorb gone, it is on to Pikachu, and oh my god, that is not Pikachu. That is not even back in the day fat Pikachu. Look at its tiny little arms. It poses no real threat at all and goes down. Next is my favourite Pokemon in the whole game, Raichu, and although I love it, it is clearly eating a beach ball. Like when I saw it in the game, I thought it was a huge thing, but in reality, it's actually not that big. I think it's like 2 foot tall. Why, Game Freak, did you give us a baby Pichu and not the evolved form of Raichu? When it comes to the battle itself, Raichu didn't really do anything and just fell to the Queen. 3 done, and it's been pretty easy so far. I now head east of Cerulean City to head to the bloody rock tunnel, which I refuse to get Flash for as I don't really need it. On the way, Growlithe gets its first day of battle, and no, that thing looks terrifying, like it's like a depressed dog with a fin on its head. After playing around in the darkness, I make my way out into the light and go through Lavender Town and head straight to Celadon City. Whilst here, I do some shopping and pick up a Firestone and some new TMs to give the team some sort of beef. I then go after the 4th gym, which is a grass gym, and this is relatively easy considering I have a Fearow and an Alakazam. I get to Erica, and I was so cocky I didn't even heal my Fearow. I fight Erica, who has some floaty ball thing in front of her, and she sends out Victreebel, who takes out Nidoking with a critical Razor Leaf, but then it falls to Alakazam. Tangler can't withstand its power, and I also learn Psybeam, which means Vileplume. Whoa. I'm not gonna lie, I just feel uncomfortable with that appearance. It's just absolutely haunting. With disgust, I get rid of the Vileplume and I get the 4th badge, and then I went into Team Rocket's headquarters to go bust some skulls. This is relatively quite easy, and I make the decision to evolve Growlithe into Arcanine because let's be honest, I'm not waiting until level 50 until it learns Flamethrower. I play around with the Spinny Tiles, which is the most insane design choice by the way, until I get to Giovanni and his scary mouth. I start with WARTORTLE against Onix, and boom, dead. Next was Rhydon, which is creepy eyes, boom, dead. Finally it's Kangaskhan, which I wish had more love for it. It became a god during the Mega Evolution days, but now it's just rubbish again. With sadness, I use my Alakazam to put it down, but by doing this, I get the Sylph Scope. I next plan to go to Lavender Town to go climb the tower and fight some ghosts. However, first I picked up Fly to help moving around a lot easier. I enter the Lavender Tower and meet with Ash, who's waiting for a battle. Fat Turkey goes first and is smashed by Nidoking, and out comes Gyarados. Oh, what a sprite that is just gorgeous. But beauty or not, Nidoking takes it down. It then took out the stupid looking dog, mustache man, and weird frog thing. Oh, so it just beat the whole team itself. The tower itself was so easy due to Alakazam, as it just wiped everything out with ease. For showing off my destructive power, Mr. Fuji gives me the Poke Flu, and with this I'm able to head south and wake up the Snorlax. I had absolutely no intention of catching it, and I wiped it out with my Queen. I managed to identify every trainer I could to get my levels up before we get to Fuchsia City, and I really wasn't messing around here and went straight after the Jogger. As you can imagine with Alakazam, he quickly lost 1, 2, 3, and 4 of his Pokemon in 2 shots. Gary's making this game look so easy. I go into Safari Zone and obtain the Surf HM, which gives WARTORTLE the move, and get the Gold Teeth, which gives us access to the HM Strength. Now I have Surf, I head south from Pallet Town to the Cinnabar Island, missing out the Seafoam Island completely. I don't know if the original designers were thinking you should be able to skip out a huge section of the game, but then again the power plant is optional, so maybe. I fly through the mansion to get the secret key to get access to the gym and battle through the minions to get to Blaine. I go in armed with my WARTORTLE and it takes out the stupid dog, Ponyta, Rapidash, and even Arcanine. What an amazing little turtle this thing is. Its prize for winning is for me to let it evolve into Blastoise, and I was able to give Arcanine Fire Blast, so it actually had a decent move. I then forgot I'd not done the fun stuff in Saffron City, so off I went. I fought the Karate Master and I'm nice enough to leave his treasured Pokemon behind with him. Next I went straight after Team Rocket and gave them a smacking, and considering the levels that I now was, this was an absolute breeze. I meet Red again and we're now coming to the end of this story. He sends out Pidgeot, who looks a lot better than its predecessors, and is taken out by Arcanine. Gyarados comes out and does some major damage to the team, so I had to use Alakazam to wipe it out and the stupid dog. It then becomes Alakazam versus Alakazam, and I'm not playing that game, so I switch to Fearow, who takes it out, and out comes Venusaur. Now that is a sprite. It's definitely the best out of the starters, but it still gets drill picked to death. Nothing is stopping me taking on Big Boy Giovanni, whose business meeting I have disturbed with the Silphco president. He walks over with his Joker-like smile, and it's time to dance. I started off with Blastoise against Nidorino, and it wipes it out quite easily. Kangaskhan is surfed away, as is Rhyhorn, and so is the Nidoqueen. God, you are a terrible trainer, Giovanni. I obtain the Master Ball, which to be honest is quite useless as I have all the Pokemon I need. So I go to see Sabrina's Warp Pads of Death. Like how does this physically work? Kinda think this is impossible. I arrive at Sabrina and I'm not really worried at all. First of all, why does she have a whip? And second of all, why does her design alter so differently in Generation 2? Kadabra goes against Nidoking and I wipe it out in one. Mr. Mime is next and wow, that thing is creepy looking. Not as creepy as the one in Detective Pikachu, but still creepy. 2 Earthquakes I have though is enough to see it off. Her fake Butterfree gets rid of my king, but Arcanine clears it up. Finally it is Alakazam, who takes out Arcanine and then gets a crit on my Fearow. Stupid Gen 1 mechanics. I send out my Alakazam and it started recovering, so I managed to paralyze it. Now here comes the most annoying match ever. Back in Generation 1, the opposing Pokemon didn't run out of PP, so I'm waiting for it to get paralyzed. Like I'm letting this play live and I'm running out of Psychics. Finally, I do get the look I need and finish off the Psychic Trainer. 7 badges done, it's time to get the last one. I arrive at Viridian City and... yeah, so I didn't win that one. Didn't win that match at all. Luckily, I am Gary Oak and don't need that badge, so I went on off screen and got extra. Screw you, Ash, I am the real hero of this tale. I make my way to Elite 4 and Ash appears, not caring that I've got extra badges in my possession and wants a battle. First it's Pidgeot who falls to the Nidoqueen's Thunderbolt. Nido then takes out the Rhyhorn but then falls to Gyarados. I use Alakazam to get rid of the beautiful Water Snake and the stupid Fire Dog gets put down in one. Then it becomes Alakazam again, but thankfully I do manage to get rid of it quickly. The amazing Venusaur, who is 9 levels higher I should say, tanks a Psybeam and I need Fearow to finish it off. I always forget there is a big level jump which is hard to gradually maintain with a team of 6 Pokemon without doing some level of grinding. I go through the pointless gatekeepers to go through to Victory Road, and I get this done as quickly as I can as I have no interest in catching Moltres, so I leave the bird in peace. The amazing Gary has now arrived at the Indigo Plateau, and let's be honest, it was never in doubt, as I'm an absolute legend. However, I know the levels of the teams aren't enough, so I go back and do some grinding to get them to level 55. Thank God for the magic button that makes the game go at 1000 speed. With me messing up the Professor Oak glitch, this is it, the final challenge and the time for me to beat the Elite Four and take my place with the Legends of Kanto. First is Lorelei, who sends out Dugong, and I use my Queen, who nearly dies to an Aura Beam but manages to hang on and takes it out, but then it does fall to Cloyster. I then use Blastoise to try and clean up, but I keep missing Mega Punch. Stupid clam. Slowbro is next, and I do bring out Fearow, who gets a critical fly-in. Next is whoa, 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 whoa.
Jinx! Jinx! Bitch, shut up!
Mrs. Popo does finish me off, and it's left to Arcanine to clean up. He's then able to use Fire Blast to finish Lapras up. Next is the mighty Bruno, and I knew this would be an absolute pushover. I'll heal up and start with the Blastoise. It takes out the Rock Snake, Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee, the second Rock Snake, and Machamp. That was easy. Oak and Drag steps up to try and stop our progress, and come on, we all know this is an absolute joke for battle. Alakazam starts using his counting skills. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm now glad we know how to count to 5, kids, because Agatha is a joke. The King of Dragons is the last member to face me, and we're both so full of pride we refuse to look at each other before our battle. Water Snake faces Alakazam and it takes 2 Psychic attacks to do the job. 2 Psybeams also take out the first Dragonair and a critical hit takes out the second one. Alakazam goes up against Aerodactyl but it uses Supersonic, so I switch into Blastoise to do the job. Finally, it is the King of Dragons, the useless Dragonite, who goes down in 1 Ice Beam. This has been surprisingly easy, but there is one more battle to go. Ash has beat me to the top, but that doesn't make any sense as he's a useless tool. Now, well, to be fair, it's my turn to smack the smirk off his face, and look at you with your new threads. Blastoise takes out Pidgeot, Alakazam, and also Raiden. Liquid Snake does take out my starter, and I use Mr. Mustache to finish it off. Arcanine uses Roll for some reason, which means it's sent bye-bye. Finally, it is that god Venusaur, which goes down with 1 critical Psybeam. That's surprisingly easy. Not really much of a challenge. Well, I'm Gary Oak, what do you expect? Nothing's a challenge for this lad. He's a proper geezer and nothing stands in his way, but I'm really happy someone made a patch that I was actually able to play the game as Gary, or Blue, however you want to see it. In 3 weeks' time, I'll be trying to beat Pokemon Soul Silver with Usain, the Suicune Hunter, but until then, I've been HBT, and this has been Gary Oak, the hero of man. Bye-bye.